Hello, friends. Welcome to the March 26th episode of Stacking the Box. Iain McMillan here, Sterling Holmes here, and the New York Giants have their quarterbacks. They signed not one, not two quarterbacks this past. When was this? Yesterday or 2 days ago? I don't know. Time is a flat circle. The New York Giants have signed Jameis Winston, and they followed it up by also signing Russell Wilson. Complete opposite quarterbacks. One guy checks it down every play. The other guy says, heck, one of my receivers got to be down the field. I'll just toss it up and see what happens. Sterling, thoughts about the New York Giants and their quarterback situation?
Yeah, of this podcast, I think I'm Jameis Winston, you're Russell Wilson. So it makes a lot of sense because they go well together.
I'm definitely the Jameis Winston. No, you don't even swear. You say bleep. That's a Russell Wilson thing. Russell Wilson, I bet you also says bleep instead of swears.
What happened in New Orleans? Who's the guy every single night like, let's go out, let's party, let's have fun, let's do something? Was it you or was it me? Who had to get you out of the hotel to go to the casino? And you're the gambling guy.
I had more work to do during the days. I was more tired. I was also sick.
You did more work. Come on.
Well, I also had to write and edit articles.
It's not right. Come on.
Who's gonna start for the Giants? Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson?
Carson Wentz.
Matthew says, I feel like they should top the QB room off with Carson. Well, they also already re-signed Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Mr. Cutlets. So you may as well toss Carson Wentz into the mix too. Hey, trade for Kirk Cousins. Why not?
I think Russell Wilson starts.
He is getting paid more money. I don't have the exact figures in front of me, but he is getting paid more money, so you'd think Russell Wilson will start.
Yes, I think Russell's a starter, personally.
I don't think Russell Wilson has done anything to deserve being a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore.
Well, I think what happened is you have a floor. The Giants are trying to do what I think the Raiders are trying to do, which is just try and get relevant. Just try to win 7-8 games. They're not trying to make a playoff run. Like, they're just trying to, and now they'll tell you they are, but what they're really doing is just trying to get some stability in an organization that desperately needs it, right? That's what the Giants need right now. They need stability. They were the laughingstock of the NFL last year for a multitude of reasons, but the hard knocks did not help. The quarterback play did not help. Losing Saquon and Saquon going off for the Eagles in the culmination of winning a Super Bowl did not help. The Giants need to stop being the laughingstock of the NFL. So what do? You bring in two jokers. You bring in the funniest guy in interviews in Jameis Winston, and you bring in a guy who is so PC that it just seems like a complete and utter joke in Russell Wilson. But what I will say is on the field, at least, Russell Wilson is not horrendous. Is he good? No. Is he even a starting level NFL caliber quarterback in the NFL? Probably. He's probably in that 25th overall range. They're trying to get a floor and to not be the laughingstock of the NFL. I somewhat get it in that regards.
Yeah. So no chance the Giants are playoff contender next year? No. What week do they go to Jameis Winston and bench Russell Wilson? Over under week 4.5.
Over.
You think he lasts longer than 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go under.
Whenever Malik Neighbors wants him.
Which should be immediately.
But I will say Russell Wilson can still throw that moon ball. That might keep Malik happy for a little bit.
Yeah, James can throw deep ball too, though.
Well, he throws it. Someone will come down with it.
These signings by the Giants not only have an effect on their team next season, also has a ripple effect to the NFL draft, as many people thought the Giants, who currently picked number 3 in the draft, would be the landing spot for Shadeur Sanders. That looks unlikely now at this point, although it is still possible. But based on the fact they extended or re-signed, I should say, Tommy DeVito.
I would love to see Danny DeVito play quarterback for the Giants. Now, that would be something I would pay to watch. Good money for it, too.
Yeah, they re-signed Tommy DeVito and then also, obviously, Wilson and Jameis Winston. Probably not going to put a fourth quarterback in that room with Shadeur Sanders. So Cam Ward right now is the betting favorite to go number 1 overall, minus 1,200, which is an implied probability of, I had it in my notes here, now I lost it, 92.31%. So Cam Ward is going to go number 1 to the Titans. You could see Shadeur Sanders fall number 2, although the favorite for the Browns to draft at number 2 is Abdul Carter. And then you got a little while before someone potentially takes Shadeur Sanders. Patriots aren't going to. Jaguars aren't going to. I guess the Raiders potentially. Maybe.
I think the Raiders would.
I mean, they have Geno Smith now.
My question, it doesn't keep you from drafting a rookie quarterback.
Sure.
It shouldn't keep you from drafting a rookie quarterback. What's interesting is I think Shadeur Sanders makes more sense in the NFC than the AFC. Here's why. I think Shadeur Sanders he's going to be a fine quarterback in the NFL. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he has a massive amount of upside. He doesn't have the arm strength that Cam Ward has. I think Shadeur Sanders is going to be a quarterback who's going to be a floor guy. I don't, right now, by the way, I don't think it's a good quarterback class. I don't believe in Cam Ward personally. I don't. He had a great offensive line in Miami. Anytime there was pressure, he crumbled. Well, you're not getting that sort of protection in the NFL, especially if you're drafting it that early in the draft. I think Cam Ward is going to struggle mightily early on. Can he figure it out? I'm sure he can, but I'm not going to bet on that one. Shadeur Sanders, I'm only betting on being the best quarterback in this draft because I think he has a floor. I don't think he's going to ever be a Pro Bowl unless you get one of those, 12 alternate type situations. But I think Shadeur is going to be the guy I would hook my wagon up to. But I think if you're in the AFC, there are so many incredible quarterbacks. That's where the majority of the elite quarterbacks are at right now. That floor guy's not going to move the needle for you. So I understand why if Tennessee's drafting saying, hey, we need Ward. We know it's going to be riskier, but we need to take that risk. It's why I think the Colts did it with Anthony Richardson. They go, okay, well, we don't have to beat Kirk Cousins. We have to beat Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow. We have to beat the elite quarterbacks, right? I think there's something to that. So I think if you're an AFC team, you draft Cam Ward. If you're an NFC team, you might go Shadeur Sanders because that floor might be enough to get you to the next level.
Okay, so with that in mind, where do you think he falls to? Because he can fall pretty far. I mean, every single year, it seems like, maybe not every year, but a lot of years there is a quarterback who does fall further than a lot of people think. And if the Patriots obviously aren't going to at 4, Jaguars, if they pass on the Raiders, the Jets got Justin Fields potentially there, Carolina, Bryce Young, Saints at number 9 could be an interesting option. And then after that,
I think Saints are a really interesting option.
Yeah, does he get past New Orleans? Because if he gets past New Orleans, it might not go for a long time.
So, again, my thoughts on where I think it makes the most sense. NFC. That doesn't mean I don't think the Raiders will take him.
Right.
I still think there's a good chance the Raiders take him. I think he would not get past New Orleans. He shouldn't get past New Orleans. Again, if you talk about just a team that needs a floor quarterback, a team that again, 10 wins might get it done. I know your thoughts on Atlanta. I get it. I understand. Still, it's the NFC, and it's the NFC South. You need a floor. Floor might be enough to get you there. So I think Shadeur would not get past New Orleans. Could we see a trade up? Potentially. I just think it's interesting because, Abdul Carter is probably the best player in the draft. Travis Hunter might be the second best player in the draft. I mean, if you were doing an actual big board of ranking every single player, when do the quarterbacks even come into play? 10? 12?
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on your thoughts, especially if you're a Cam Ward guy. Again, I told you my thoughts. I'm just not a huge believer. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. That's just where I land on the matter as of now. I think it's a very interesting draft because where do people view Travis Hunter? Is he a cornerback? Is he a wide receiver? Is he a cornerback who has specialized packages to play wide receiver? Is he a wide receiver who's going to play occasionally cornerback? Because you're not going to play every single down in the NFL. It's just physically just too demanding. This is one of the more interesting drafts, especially with the lack of upper echelon quarterback talent and even to an extent tackle talent.
Yeah, it is an interesting conversation as we get inch closer to the NFL draft. Obviously, I'm a betting guy. I pay attention to the odds. That's where I figure out the probability of things happening in the draft. Obviously, things don't always work out that way. But odds have started to be released a little bit. At least the sportsbook I'm looking at right now doesn't have a ton of options for Shadeur Sanders. But I did just see this, which is interesting. What do you think is a position that's favored for the Chiefs to draft?
It's a great question. The Chiefs can go a lot of ways here. If there's a really good defensive tackle I think they should go defensive line. If who's the offensive lineman for Ohio State? Josh Simmons, right? Simmons, the tackle, was going to be like the top tackle in the draft, right? But then he's injured. He's going to miss all of his rookie year. Well, if he falls to 31, the Chiefs might just still take him and say, okay, we have Jalen Moore we're going to roll with this year. We can afford to actually allow him to develop here, at least sit out a redshirt year, if you will, at tackle. The Chiefs could potentially go that route. I wouldn't hate it, but I wonder what the fan base would think in your a win now mode, right? Do they want to afford to sit back and wait a year without a guy? I think defensive line's the way I'm going, number one. I think Simmons is an interesting one. If a wide receiver falls that maybe should have gone earlier, a guy like Luther Burden at 31, I would be okay with the Chiefs taking that player. I've heard some running backs mocked to the Chiefs at 31. That's a little too rich for my blood, even with a guy like Hampton. I think I would go around the fourth round, like maybe a Devin Neal type of guy for the running back room for KC. I think cornerback is another position group that I think the Chiefs will take a pretty heavy swing at some point in the draft. The Chiefs can actually go a lot of different ways. The way they have the way the Chiefs have their roster constructed right now, they're able to almost take BPA, best player available, which is a good spot to be in.
According to FanDuel, there's a 55% chance the Chiefs draft an offensive lineman with the first pick.
I would be shocked.
Wow.
I would say no. And again, unless it's Simmons, I do not think the Chiefs take an offensive lineman with the first pick in the draft.
So maybe you should get in on this market then. Defensive lineman / edge plus 210, cornerback 10-1, running back 15-1, safety 15-1.
I would take money on running back and defensive line.
There you go. Interesting.
I mean, you could double down, right? Because you could do, let's say you put 5 on defensive line and then 5 on, let's just say, running back. Well, I think you're making your money back, at least. If they take a defensive lineman, you make your money back. If you
you double your money. A little over double your money, yeah.
Well, no, because you're putting 5 and 5.
So yeah, plus 210.
Yeah, but you get my point? You still have to put the $10 in overall. The 5 and 5 equal 10.
Yeah, but a plus 210, you would. So you take away the one unit you lost in running back, it'd be like winning a plus 110 bet. So you'd be more than doubling your money.
Am I dumb here? I know I'm not a betting guy. I feel like my math makes more sense than your math.
No, it doesn't.
I feel like it does.
It's a plus 210 bet. So if you put one unit on running back and that loses, then take off the unit off plus 210. That's winning a plus 110 bet.
Yes.
And a plus 110 bet would be doubling your money. Be $5, get back $6. No, it'd be less than 6 because it's
okay. You're probably right. I'm not good at.
Be bet $10, get back 11.
I'm not good at math. Okay, so I don't. This is why I don't bet, Ian. Only bet with you because I win with you. But that's beside the point.
Let's actually stay on this topic of the draft because it was interesting that you said the Chiefs are in a area where they could bet or could draft BPA, best player available. What are your thoughts on teams' philosophies? Whether should teams be drafting for need in the NFL draft or should they be drafting best player available? Obviously, the Falcons throughout the years have drafted best player available to a fault, some would say, even last year. And I bet on them taking Rome Odunze because I was like, we don't need a receiver, but we're going to take best player available. I didn't even think that they would go best player available. Oh, it's a quarterback? We'll take a second quarterback. Matthew, funny comment in the chat. Atlanta shocks the world and drafts Sanders. Yeah, sure. Let's bring Dion's kid to Atlanta too. May as well. So what are your thoughts on that? Atlanta's obviously has, since the new management took over, 5 years ago, they have been best player available every year. Including taking Kyle Pitts at 3 overall or whatever it was. Do you agree with that, or do you think teams should draft for need?
Yeah, typically I'm team BPA, but there's always going to be some nuance. I think the interesting part is the Falcons, quite frankly, both have worked out. Not Kyle Pitts necessarily, but Bijan Robinson. I thought that was dumb. I go, why are you doing that? You already have Tyler Algier, who went over 1,000 yards the year prior. And then you draft Bijan, and the run game took another step forward. And Bijan looks like a legitimate game changer. I thought drafting Michael Penix Jr. was absurd. And then you realize, okay, well, Kirk Cousins done, and Michael Penix might be the future. It's actually worked out for the Falcons. And I think it's worked out for, let's say, a team like the Chargers. They didn't need a left tackle. They still drafted Joe Alt. They just moved Joe Alt to right tackle, and he's one of the best right tackles in football. I do think at times we overthink. Just take the best player. Take a guy who you think is a game changer. Again, with nuance. The Chiefs should not draft a quarterback. The Bills or the Bengals should not draft a quarterback. That's dumb. But if you have some question marks, if you're the Raiders, and there's a quarterback you think could be better than Geno Smith, draft the rookie quarterback. Don't let Geno Smith stop you from the future. Just how the Falcons didn't let Kirk Cousins stop them from drafting for the future. I actually didn't hate. I mean, we hated at the time. I'll admit it. I thought it was dumb. The past 2 draft picks in the first round for the Falcons, both have worked. I don't know, man. I think I'm becoming more and more BPA. I've become more BPA. Now, again, to an extent, if you're the Titans drafting Travis Hunter, does it matter if you don't have a quarterback at all? I don't know. There's always some nuance to this. I think it just depends. Like, the Titans probably should draft Cam Ward. Like, they probably should. But is he a better prospect or a better player than Abdul Carter? I don't think so. Yeah. Travis Hunter? I don't think so. Jet McMillan even? Probably not.
McMillan's taken over the NFL. We're almost exactly, I think we're a month from tomorrow.
No, the 24th.
No, a month from
April 24th.
Month from 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Until the NFL draft. So we will have we'll talk more NFL draft as we kind of approach it. Actually, one last thing that we'll bring up, draft related, and I didn't even hear about this until right before we went live. But apparently, Will Campbell has short arms. LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell has short arms, and people are scrutinizing him for it. And he responded, "For 2 years, nobody had any measurements on me, and nobody said anything about my play. So now all of a sudden, arm length decides if I'm a good player or not. I think it's BS." I defend Will Campbell because I am a fellow short arm guy. I got little T-Rex arms. I should have longer arms. What is his actual reach? Do we have that
33.
measurement somewhere?
33.
33 is pretty short.
Like Joe Tooney, for example, last year was it 32 and a half, which is real short. And that's why he plays guard. Tooney used to be a tackle. And they saw his arms and go, "You're a guard."
Yeah, you can get away with that as a guard.
Will Campbell, I love what he said. And he can be the outlier. There are outliers. I think, Alaric Jackson for the Rams. Undrafted guy. I mean, he's the outlier of outliers. First off, undrafted left tackle. Check. Only starting left tackle is undrafted in the NFL right now. And he has short arms. That's a very big rarity. Will Campbell could be the outlier. I think most teams are not going to bet on that, especially early in the draft. You don't do that. Sean says they measured him below 33 inches at the combine, and then at the pro day the next day, they put him at 33 exactly. Yeah, I thought he was 33. So that's pretty darn short for a tackle. And that's more or less what we've talked about. A lot of draft experts that I've talked with is if you think you're a tackle in this draft, you're a guard. Almost every single tackle has short arms in this draft. It's weird. Maybe Mimbu for Mizzou, but he's a right tackle. He's not even a left tackle. So it's just interesting. Most of the tackles in this draft are more than likely going to be guards. So if you need guards, congratulations. You're going to get probably a really good one. But I understand Will Campbell being like, does this just take away all of the tape that I've or everything I've done to put on tape? No, it doesn't. But you're not trying to say, what do you look like against college kids? What do you look like against NFL players? That's the real question mark here, is how does that translate when you're now going up against a guy like Myles Garrett or the Watts or Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby? Because it makes it a lot more difficult with short arms. They get to you a lot quicker.
Let's go back to some NFL news. The New England Patriots have signed Stefon Diggs, wide receiver, finally getting Drake May a weapon. I have a friend back home who is a Patriots fan. I've bet him now the past 2 years of the under on the Patriots team win total. He, as soon as that news broke, he texted me and said, "Let's run that bet back again." So I will once again be betting my friend on the Patriots to go under their win total this season. Stefon Diggs signing with the Patriots, to me, is not as big of a deal as some people are making it out to be. So, am I wrong to say Stefon Diggs is kind of washed a little bit, especially coming off an injury from last year?
Yeah, I think kind of washed is the right. He's not washed. Like, I don't think he's a bad player.
No, but he's not the guy he was.
He's not the guy he once was, and it's been a decline. And I think the Bills saw that, understood it, and got
it
it
at the right time
early.
Yeah.
I actually did not mind the Texans making that move because rookie quarterback, or at least rookie deal quarterback, you can afford to go in. And because of it, I think it's okay for the Patriots. I don't hate the move. It's a lot of money. I think like 28 teams, this is a really bad move for. But the Patriots are one of the few teams where I go, I at least understand it. Do I think it moves the needle a ton? No, I don't think he's going to all of a sudden add 2 or 3 wins. But you're, again, giving a second-year quarterback on a rookie deal. You have the monetary resources to do this, right? That's first and foremost. This is not going to handicap you because by the time you decide to pay Drake May, Stefon Diggs' contract's going to be off the books, right?
Yeah.
So there's ships passing in the night. Doesn't matter. And then 2, you at least get a veteran wide receiver, a proven wide receiver. Again, is he on the decline? Yeah, I think we both agree there. But you still have a guy that can help Drake May out because he is young. Bring that veteran in. I actually like this move overall for the Patriots. I don't think it necessarily makes a huge difference in the win total, but I do think it makes a difference in you can now understand what Drake May is. Is he the franchise quarterback? Is he your guy going forward? No, now he's not just, okay, I have Pop Douglas and a whole bunch of guys who are kind of has-beens, like even Keyshawn Boutte, right? I mean, he was supposed to be a stud at LSU, then fell off. Injuries, plethora of other reasons, but, right? That was like his wide receiver 2 last year. Now you have at least a proven wide receiver in the room. Again, I like it for the Patriots. Don't think it moves the win-loss needle, though.
Yeah, you got to get your young quarterback some kind of offensive weapon he can throw to. Something like you said did not have last year. 3-year deal, $69 million for Stefon Diggs. Not bad.
Again, I'm always a fan of teams with rookie contracts at quarterback making moves like this for the most part. Like, again, there's always going to be outliers. This is a lot of money for almost to the point of where Stefon Diggs, I was going to almost assume, needed a prove-it deal. But again, you want to take care of your young quarterback, and his rookie contract is a massive deal compared to every other quarterback on second contracts.
Puka Nacua has made the claim that he plans on retiring at the age of 30. I think he's only, 24 now, 23 right now. So he still has quite a few years left. But I don't buy it. I think a lot of young players have said this in the past because they think, and I, even as a non-NFL player, when I was 23, I thought I'd never be 30. Or I felt like when I turned 30, I was going to be old and life would be completely different. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're 30. I think that is exactly what's going to happen to Puka Nacua. I can't think there has been other players who have said the same thing. I can't remember who, but I've definitely heard this before. And then they get to 30 and they're like, "Oh, I'm not done playing yet. What am I talking about? I'm going to keep playing." And I think it's I should mark a reminder in my calendar in 6 years from now to be like, did Puka Nacua retire? I would bet a pretty decent sum of money, barring obviously any season or like career-ending injuries or his play falling off the cliff. If it's up to him when he's 30 years old, he's not going to retire. I guarantee it.
I think part of it is injuries already for Puka, which I understand where he's coming from. You know, large family. Obviously, we know about all of his pedigree and the cousins and Penei Sewell. And like, I get what he was saying, where he wants to be able to have fun with his kids or his family as he ages, and doesn't want to take so many injuries. I think the injury aspects are going to play a big part of this. I don't hate it. I would hate it as a Rams fan. Right? You're like, oh man, how much does he care about football if he's already thinking about retirement right now? Is he, trying to take plays off? And then you watch Puka Nacua play and you're like, this guy does not take any plays off. This guy puts his body on the line for this team. It's different. It's funny. Like his words of, I don't want to get injured, all this stuff. And then you see him play and you're like, okay, this guy is physical as hell. I like Puka Nacua. Fun guy. I get where you're coming from, but I don't hate the idea of him having a game plan already.
Sure, and if he sticks to it, I'm not saying if he does, good for him. I'm never going to disparage someone for retiring early. It's been a more popular move in the NFL lately, and football is beyond even just a physical sport. It's a damaging sport. So I'm never going to get mad at someone for retiring. I just don't believe him. I think 30 will come much quicker than he thinks it will.
30 came a lot quicker.
30 comes quick. 30 and then 32 comes quicker.
I'm still 30. I'm almost 31 though.
I'm sure I'll blink and I'll be 40 when I wake up tomorrow morning. It's not good.
I doubt it. You know what? I'll bet you that I bet you will not blink and turn to be 40 tomorrow. I'll guarantee it.
All right.
That's why you lose all these bets, Ian.
Yeah. Kareem, I'm gonna win this bet on Puka Nacua not retiring at 30, unless he gets more injuries. That's my oath on that. Kareem Hunt resigns with the Chiefs. You're a Chiefs guy. Talk to me about that.
It's
Do you
fine.
care?
It's fine.
No thoughts?
Literally, like, no thoughts. It's literally fine.
I'm surprised they re-signed him, because usually when he didn't do great. Usually when a running back just does like average to below average, they just let him go because they're like, we can probably find someone the same or better in the offseason.
There is no fan base that has a wildly differing opinion on running backs in Kansas City. Pacheco, I like the guy. I hope he bounces back and is good. But some Chiefs fans think that he is just like a top 10 running back. And I'm sitting here like, he's probably not even like, of starting running backs, he's not even bottom 10. Like, he's not in the 20s. Kareem Hunt was fine. He's fine. But you have just two fine running backs on your roster, and then you bring in a guy who has been above average, when healthy, who's always injured, in Elijah Mitchell. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't get it. I mean, I think all of those contracts the Chiefs can get out of. I think that Elijah, Kareem, Pacheco, if they wanted to cut one because they draft a guy, wouldn't be surprised. One guy somehow ends up going to the practice squad at some point, wouldn't be surprised. But I've never seen a more differing opinion, because some Chiefs fans think Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are outstanding, and then other people think that they're bums. But in reality, I'm like, they're both below average running backs at this point.
I had a running back for you. Could I interest you in a Tyler Algier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be interested in that.
What will you send back for Tyler Algier?
I don't know, a sixth?
No, give me a player. Give me a player.
Give you a player?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Not much.
Come on. Tyler Algier would immediately be your best running back.
Sure.
Give me something.
You're not getting back hardly anything. I might give you like a Josh Williams.
What about Noah Gray?
CB4.
What about Noah Gray?
I will not give you Noah Gray.
Come on, you guys don't need Noah Gray.
I will
need backup tight
The
end.
Chiefs definitely need Noah Gray, because this is probably Travis Kelce's last year. They just signed him into an extension.
All right.
I might give you... Well, because Tyler Algier is about to be off his rookie contract soon, too. Yeah, no. You give me Tyler Algier, I will potentially send you a sixth.
That's insane. A sixth is insane. First round pick. Take it or leave it.
I will leave it.
All right. The NFL is reviewing the kickoff rule once again. I remember the last show that we did, there was someone in the chat that was asking us about this. It has come up. The new rule, which is they're going to discuss. I don't necessarily know what that means, but they're discussing moving the touchback line from the 25-yard line to the 30. No, they already did that. Now they're thinking about moving it again to the 35 to discourage fewer touchbacks. They want more returns. So then basically, I mean, if they move it all the way to the 35 and teams still take touchbacks, like teams are going to be like borderline of field goal range. They're going to need 2 first downs and they're in field goal range.
Yeah, I get why they're doing it, because they moved it to the 30 and the analytics basically said it's not worth it. Just take the touchback. 35 is interesting. I think you're going to be almost forced to take the ball out at that point. I would be intrigued by this. I think originally the thought process was the 35, and they thought it was too penal. So they said, well, we'll do the 30. And then it did not go the way as it planned. I think the original game plan, if I'm not mistaken, based on this, was the 35, based on the XFL.
Was the XFL 35?
I believe the XFL was 35. And they said, no, that's just too penalized, and let's do the 30. And it wasn't penalized enough. So I'm actually okay with this. I don't have strong thoughts either way. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and argue over this. But I think the 35 would get you a lot more balls in play and more strategy, because we thought there was going to be so much strategy on kickoffs, and it never transpired. So the 35 might actually bring that into play. It all comes down to if people think it's gimmicky, if they think they want special teams and kickoffs to have that much influence over a game. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Here's an interesting stat. So the average field position last season was the 29.6-yard line. When including touchbacks, if you remove touchbacks, the field position went to the 28.8-yard line, which makes sense why teams would not want to return the ball, because if they don't return the ball, they're going to get it further, 1.2 yards further down the field than if they do on average when they return it.
But it wasn't even that. It was a lot of teams that kicked off wanted to just kick off through the end zone because they're like, it's not also worth it for us to potentially give up a big play. So right. it was kind of it was both sides.
It's kind of in no man's land right now.
You're in no man's land where the kicking team goes, well, is it worth it to gain 1.2 yards? And then the kickoff team goes, it's definitely worth it for us to gain that 1.2 yards. And so just kick it back, and neither party has a no one cares.
It's starting, this whole kickoff thing is, I was never part of the group that says we should just get rid of kickoffs, but they're trying so many things now. I'm almost like sick of it, and I'm just like, just get rid of kickoffs. I'm sick of it.
I'm okay with how they have it. It wasn't as gimmicky as I thought. I thought it was going to be super gimmicky. And
there were 32.8% of the time there was a return last season. That was the second lowest return rate in NFL history.
So then, try this. If this doesn't work, then I say, yeah, just stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess if it's to the 35, then kicking teams will have to like not kick it to the end zone.
Because that's 7-yard difference of like starting field position.
That does, in theory, seem like it would fix it because you definitely don't want to kick it into the end zone and hand the ball the other team the ball in the 35, where they're 2 first downs away from a field goal.
And then the other team's like, well, they're going to want to obviously not take it back, but they're going to be almost forced to.
Yeah. I mean, if the other team kicks it ahead of the end zone, then yeah, you are forced to. Unless you want to try to see if it's going to bounce into the end zone, but that's risky.
And the difference is they're going to probably kickers are going to have to start trying to kick it to the 5 because you're not even going to want to kick it to the 1. You're not going to want to risk that. So you're going to have to try and kick it to like the 5 or the 7. Right? There's going to be some nuance to it. I see, again, I'm fine with this. All it does is add more strategy into the game. Yeah. I'm okay with it because I don't think it's too gimmicky. Yeah. Unlike the Eagles and that damn tush push. Am I right, fellas? That's a Philly guy. That's why.
Yeah. I love the tush push.
I just like giving Sean a hard time.
Yeah. Anything else? Because that's pretty much it on my list.
Yeah, we're pretty much.
It was actually an extremely quiet week until all the Giants stuff yesterday.
Yeah, not much going on right now. Obviously, we are less than a month away from the draft in Green Bay. First round, April 24th. Second round, April 25th, on my birthday. Woohoo! Fun. Hopefully the Chiefs do something fun for me. That'd be lovely. Hope the Falcons draft yet another quarterback in about, 29 days. I think we're both out next week, though. You and me.
We are both out. This will be the last episode of Stacking the Box where I will be reporting live from New York City. Next time you guys see me on Stacking the Box, I will be in the great city of Toronto, Ontario, back in my homeland.
Oh.
Can't wait. I'm excited. To get home. Long overdue.
I'll be in Florida next week while you'll be in Canada.
No, it's
Talk
okay.
about two.
Well, I'm getting to Toronto right at the start of the perfect time to be in Canada.
No, I'm just saying we're gonna be very far away.
Oh,
but
yes.
also I'll be on a beach and you'll be in the tundra of Ontario.
It's starting to get nice in Canada now. All right then. That's the show. Would you like to apologize to me for convincing me to take Missouri to the Elite Eight?
I didn't convince you at all. I would never. Again, I'm a tortured Mizzou fan.
Yeah.
In my life, any true Mizzou fan would never tell you to bet on Mizzou because that's dumb. They rip your heart out. You texted me after the game. I'm like, this is not even in the top 10 of like most devastating losses. Not even close. Not even top 10 most devastating losses in Mizzou basketball history. Like, it's absurd. This is what Missouri does. Missouri will give you hope and then snatch that hope away from you so damn quick.
Yeah. Still,
M-I-Z.
All right. That's the show. Thank you all so much for watching, listening. Like Sterling mentioned, we will probably... There could be a show next week. We don't know if there is. It might just be Cody Williams just by himself. That'll be fun. But if not, you will at the very least see the two of us back the week after. That'll be April 9th. I'll be reporting live from Toronto, and Sterling, you will be joining me. Correct? Yes.
Correct.
Subscribe to Stacking the Box on YouTube. Like this video. Enjoy your week. If you're still watching and betting on March Madness, good luck. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.